What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out the early access release version of Cantata. Previously, about a year ago, we were given access to a demo of this game, and it seemed like people were pretty into it. It's a slick little it's a slick little tactical strategy game that's got like a really nice kind of Mobius-inspired art style. It's got a very interesting sort of hook, I guess. Like, it's a game that's pushing in a lot of different directions, and it is a little bit difficult to pick up, but I spent a couple hours with the game last night just to kind of like figure out how everything works, and I think I'm ready to do my first impressions. So, if after watching this you wanted to get the early access for yourself, check the game out. It is available right now. I've got a link for you down below. On top of that, you can also find links down there to all my socials and things of that nature. But let's get her moving, shall we? So Mobius, what does it entail? It's got a skirmish mode, and so you can play locally, and you can fiddle around and get like a map going and play whatever faction you want. It's apparently modding enabled. We'll see how the workshop mill spins together for this one and if they end up starting to make actual products for it. But modding is in there, but as far as the game goes for right now, there's a couple of campaigns, but there's planned to be a great many campaigns. In fact, when I hit my scroll wheel on this, it actually surprised me how far to the right it went, and so they've actually got 9 chapters in here that they're going to be playing around with. I've played Chapter 1, and I've played Chapter 2, and I vaguely know what Chapter 3 is, just from kind of insinuation. But for right now, each of these chapters is going to put you in control of a different faction that kind of plays differently. I don't want to, like, reference StarCraft here, because the game is not an RTS at all, but the game does kind of have its own version of the various factions. So in this game, there is kind of like a human imperium that like conquers the stars and goes places they're not supposed to go and colonizes things and puts everybody to the sword. You've got an alien race over here where they kind of live in synchronicity with like the plants and like the planet, sort of like Avatar style, I guess, from what I could derive when I was playing through their campaign right there. And then the last one you've got is the robots, the unified spirit. And I haven't had a chance to play them yet, but I have played against them in the human campaign. And so anyways, just to keep things simple, I know what I'm doing with these two, so when I was trying to put together whether or not and how I wanted to cover this game, I knew I was going to do one of these two, but we'll just start with Chapter 1. There's going to be quite a bit of explanation going into this video. It took me a while to piece through it, and I'd like to relay that for anybody that's gotten into the game, just so that they can hit the ground running instead of, because like the tutorials in this game, there are tutorials included, but the tutorials are very simple stuff. Like, the tutorials are good for getting you into the gameplay loop, but they don't really explain some of the finer points and finer details of how everything like functions, and you will bump elbows a little bit, at least that I did when I was playing through Chapter 1, where I was like, okay, what is this? How does this work? The tutorial didn't cover this. How do I do this? How do I do this? And so anyways, I'm going to try to point that stuff out as we go, but as the Shotar of Mars, you are the heir to a mighty dynasty reaching back countless aeons. Pursuit of the machine traders has led you to the abandoned colony planet Shoal. Finish off Vashti once and rid the galaxy of her scourge, so that the rain may once again inspire peace throughout the galaxy. Melt them into slag. 7 warships. 7, each one loaded with enough troops, ammunition, and fuel to mount an assault on any system within 3 jumps of here. By the crowded heavens, the machines could take Jupiter with a force that size if they were quick enough. They muster all that power and bring it where? A backwater planet like Shoal. A colony full of bright-eyed frontier yokels that didn't even make it a year out here. Why? I thought Vashti was supposed to be some tactical genius. What is she thinking? She is not thinking anything, Executive, because she is not a person. She is a malfunctioning home appliance with delusions of grandeur. Who knows why she's been chosen to bring her clicking, whirring hordes to this provincial place. The reign of harmony and prosper has beaten her on 3 planets now, and I intend to make this the 4th, and unlike those other foolish commanders, I'm not going to let her slip away this time. You shouldn't be careless, sire. I hear the last person to underestimate Vashti's strength was her owner. May he find peace in the hereafter. Executive? Yes, sire? Speak to me again in such a manner, and I will have you shot. I'm certain the company has another officer they can send to protect their investment here, don't you think? Yes, sire. My apologies. I am the Shotar of Mars, scion of a family that has ruled from the peaks of Olympus Mons for untold generations. We have crushed would-be kings, usurpers, throngs of nameless rabble, and every other manner of upstart. The only difference is that the heads of these traitors will rot or will not rot when I spike them on my palace. Ensign, has the Vanguard made landfall yet? Yes, sire. Commence the assault. Okay, so the game is turn-based. That's the first thing you need to be aware of. It's got kind of a slick UI, but there's some things here that we need to be aware of. So top left, this is our commanding officer. Right here, this is our XP meter. As we go to combat, this game is actually sort of interesting in that the character you're playing is almost RPG'd out. So as you fight and as you lose and as you claim victories, you gain XP on the overall field of battle that will ultimately increase the amount of buildings and resources available to you, and also increase the amount of AP that are available to you. We'll talk about AP in just a minute, because this is actually kind of an interesting thing that the game has going on. But next to that, we have our supply. This is effectively global resources. So this is everything from baseline materials and elements like iron to semiconductors and everything else. It's just been conceptualized down into one unit, basically. This right here is your VP. It basically tracks how close you are to winning. Right here, we've got our unit cap. So at the moment, we have 4 guys. We've got a recon rickshaw, and we've got 2 conscripts. So this guy costs 2, and these 2 cost 1, so that's 4. And then we've got our AP next to it. AP in this game is kind of interesting because this game uses a system called Surge. No, not the soft drink from the late 90s. Surge. So basically what Surge is that everybody in your army can move and attack. It's that simple. But certain units will have a thing called Surge Enabled, or they will have Surge capability. And what Surge capability does is it allows you to spend this AP to give them additional actions. So they can attack like 3 or 4 times in one turn, basically, by spending AP. And that means that combat in this game is actually pretty wildly unpredictable. That's been my big takeaway from as I've been playing the game, is that combat is hard to predict in this game because just like you have AP, all of the AIs have AP as well. And so like you can move your units around and keep them like one space outside of their firing arc after they move and everything else, but they may choose to just surge their units and get on top of you, and it makes the game very, very chaotic and unpredictable in both ways for both you and the enemy. Like you can kind of push and do things using that mechanic that normally would not be allowed in most sort of like Fire Emblem or Advance Wars style games. One interesting thing about this Humvee right here is we can actually load units inside of it. So there you go. And then we can use this guy to go and recon. The first thing we're going to need to do is we need to get some supply so we can start to build up our base and also have replenishable units, because the fight is going to get pretty hot on this planet. So we'll go ahead and move the truck over to here with our turn, and then I will more than likely use Surge. As you can see, this guy is Surge capable, so if I make him move again, you can see that it's costing me AP. And so we're going to cruise on into this neighboring territory real quick. Colonists truly have the strangest customs, don't they? So it wants me to inspect the shrine. What a strange structure. Perhaps we should look closer. Okay, let's end our turn real fast. At the moment, we're losing supply, maintaining our units, so let's move over to here. In the distance, the shoal weeps. So does this thing actually have influence? It doesn't. Okay, so there's a number of things like with the map tiles that you need to be aware of as well. So like when you mouse over any tile in this game, it's got a number of attributes that like you need to take a look at. Otherwise, strange things are going to happen during engagements and it's going to confuse you. So the 1 out of 3, that's how many buildings we can build inside that area. The 10 right there is how much population cap we get by controlling that particular area. So as you can see, there's a green limit around this area that we control, so we're getting that population by nature of controlling it. The little green meter next to that says 15, that's your influence or your pressure. And I haven't totally and completely figured out all the ins and outs of how the pressure system works, but basically for every unit and every building and everything you have inside of a territory, they all have a pressure rating. So if we take a look over here, right, this unit right here has, let's see, I don't think he actually puts out pressure, but I think these little guys do. Let me see real fast. So we'll unload them real quick, and so it doesn't look like they're putting out pressure, but basically the core idea is this, that combat is like a tug of war, and that little meter right there with the white circle now instead of the green circle, you cannot deploy buildings or take control of a territory until you've basically put enough pressure on that territory to take it. And that's about as far as I've gotten with that. I've been trying to figure out the little tricks and things that go into like maximizing your pressure and what exactly it affects, but I'm still toying around with it. Just be forewarned, you can't deploy buildings and you can't control a territory until you have a certain requisite amount of pressure. These little guys have a flag right here. and the flag allows them to put down pressure, so each of these flags, I think, neutralizes 5 pressure. But anyways, we got to destroy this thing over here. So we'll go ahead and get it on out of the way with our vehicles. Oh, that's outside his range. Okay, move over to there. Now shoot it. Okay, we'll end the turn, and we'll get rid of this weird little shrine. It's owned by the Shoal, huh? Alright. There we go. I'll probably have him double attack just to make it go quicker so that we can kill it on the next turn. We'll have him fire first, because I don't know if this guy's going to get XP for destroying that. He did not. So whenever one of your units gets a killing blow, they get XP. All of your units have their own level ups, and so what you can see right here is that this conscript is level 1. After he gets a requisite amount of XP from killing enemies or defeating buildings, he'll start unlocking these perks over here. So he has +1 vision range right now at level 1. At level 2, he'll get +1 to his maximum health. At level 3, he'll start attacking for 2 damage instead of 1 damage. And at level 4, he gets 2 more max health, which basically makes him about as tough as this Jeep right here, all by himself. Vehicles, as far as I can tell, they do not level up in the exact same way that units do. I do need to put down a rally flag over here, and so I think I will do that. There we go. So now we control this territory. As you can see, the meter is turned green, and it now says we have 5 pressure on this area. It's increased our pop cap by 5. It's increased our victory points by 1. And of course, we now have space for 2 more buildings. Those 2 buildings are going to be pretty easy to figure out what I'm going to make. I need to get some mines down because we're bleeding supplies right now, and it's going really, really quickly. I don't think I have the AP to deploy. This is your building menu right here. I don't think I have the AP to deploy a mining facility because most buildings require AP in order to be dropped, or at least like processing buildings do. We could do a tower transport, I guess, and then put 4 conscripts inside of it, but it moves kind of slow and I don't think I care enough, so I don't think I'm going to. Alright, so we're going to use all of our AP right now to get that down. So as you can see, we've neutralized our resource drain, and now we're drawing in 5 supply per turn. And once we get that one captured in 5 more turns, there's lots of cooldowns in this game. You'll learn to kind of carefully pay attention to them. But anyways, once our cooldown is up, we'll put down that other mine over there so that we've got even more resources coming in. And then I'm going to kind of like casually push into enemy territory over here and just kind of see what sort of trouble we can get into, because at the end of the day, our objective is to scout a machine base that's down and over here. I do like this objective thing right here. When you mouse over your text objectives over here in the left corner, it'll actually highlight them for you, and it's really, really nice. There's also hidden objectives on each mission that you can just kind of like stumble across, and they will either give you more storyline context or alternate objectives to work on that'll have their own rewards. I like that very, very much too. It makes it feel as though there's secrets on the map to be found and to have fun with. I'm gonna go ahead and spit out another conscript right here. And we need him to kind of work his way towards the battlefield, and we're gonna surge move him. And we're gonna kind of keep these units nearby one another. Okay, so there's a corpse right there. That's the dead body of a slain unit. We do have enough AP to move a little bit further. I don't want to be, like, overly aggressive, but those things that came out of the trees, like wild creatures, like walking nightmares. Everyone's gone. Someone get this soldier back to the front lines. I don't think he's going to make it. He doesn't have any move left. It's not ideal. I would prefer that he have a little bit of move left. Actually, he does that. Okay, let's have him regroup with the main battle line. And we'll just keep everybody in formation for right now. Is my cooldown up on my second mine? It's not. Okay. Let's kind of push down to like right here. Recon truck. What you got for me? The walker in the center. The legs are shot to pieces. They must have been unwilling to leave one of their own behind. It's almost foolish, idiotic, weak-willed. Precisely my thoughts, sire. Machine-sighted, sire. Warriors of the 111th reign of harmony and prosper. Destroy them. Okay, well, let's get ourselves into a firing position. These guys also have kind of like a Red Alert 2 inspired ability where they can dig a trench. Basically, they can dig a foxhole to fight out of. If they dig a foxhole to fight out of, I think it increases their range. and their line of sight, but it doesn't increase their damage, I don't think. Also, I don't think they get XP while fighting from a foxhole. They only get XP if they're actually fighting like mobile infantry style. We'll go ahead and stop right here. I'm going to let them come to me because I don't know what they're going to do in order to make contact with me. Okay. It's acceptable. We're going to have to unload here. So let's break out the rest of our conscripts. There we go. We'll fire a shot there. Give me a shot there. Give me a shot there. Do I have enough AP left to fire again? Oh, I don't. Weak. Okay. Well, somebody might get a little scuffied here. I was hoping that I could get all these guys in here and not have them take damage. Fortunately, that's not the way that it's gone. Yeah, we fired with everybody. Okay. Well, limit the amount of damage that we can take here by loading these guys back in. And we'll just leave the Jeep right where it's at. However, I've got a feeling that we're going to need some replacement units pretty fast. So we'll get another infantry guy rocking over here. And then we've got our other mine ready to go. So there it is. We need to start building our first supply line. This game is very big on logistics and like moving things around the map in various ways. And like honestly, you'd have to go into a full tutorial to talk about it all. But effectively, you can interlink buildings. And then you can upgrade the interlinks in between buildings that are supplying things to one another in order to create like kind of subterranean tunnels. So like your guys can effectively, if you've upgraded your supply chain well enough, they can walk into this building and come out of a building that's like way down here effectively, and it will cost them like nothing in order to do so. And we need to start getting some of that in our lives. So we've got an engine factory over here. If we wanted to build more vehicles, we're definitely going to need that. We've also got a refinery that produces gas, which is necessary for the vehicles. So I think we'll slap down the refinery first. And as you can see, our headquarters is producing alloys. And so in exchange for one supply, it's producing one alloy per turn. And it's now sending that one alloy per turn over to the refinery, which is converting the alloy into fuel. You can adjust this with the arrows right here. So I can tell this thing to output up to +5 in exchange for supplies if I want to. And it does auto-update on all the tooltips and on the entire UI. Everything is wonderfully well interlinked. And so anyways, very, very nice attention to detail right there. And then the next thing we'll want to do is we'll want to put down a garage, basically. I'm going to put that right next to our territory. Don't worry about that red exclamation point. That red exclamation point means that this just hasn't had a chance in order to complete a production cycle in order to start supplying gas to that building right there. And then that's going to be all 3 buildings that we're able to build on that side. The good news is we'll be able to build a little bit more over here once these 2 mines have like sucked the land dry. And so we'll bulldoze both of those. We'll get our 2 buildings back and we'll build over here as we unlock technology. As you may have noticed, underneath these, it has levels. That's the level that your commander has to hit before those buildings become available. And so this game kind of represents this push and pull of like maintaining pressure on different areas. But at the same time, it also sort of... it represents the escalation of war. Like, as the commanders, you start out with, like, these small sorties down here. And after you have, like, the small sorties, people die, you end up with more XP, you level up, which gives you access to bigger, cooler, badder technology, and then there's, like, an escalation. You start out with infantry kind of poking and prodding at one another and, like, recon vehicles, and by the end, you've got full-on artillery pieces that are shelling from halfway across the map, and, you know, airstrikes and things like that, where you can feel the situation devolving, basically, and getting out of control and converting into total war. Can't really do much here, so hopefully these guys don't attack the same target. It went after my conscript. We do get counterattacks, by the way. He did get the XP for that, which is really, really nice. So we'll prioritize him for a minute. Move over to there, get a shot off. There we go. He's halfway to level 2, even though he's missing... oh, that guy's only got 1 HP left. Okay. We do want to take over this territory, I think. So while we've got AP left, this is going to expand our population by 5. Okay. That's acceptable. There we go. This is now our territory. So we have taken over it. However, we're still sharing a border with a considerable contingency of enemies. So let's get everybody back into the firing line. And if we need to, we'll unload a few more of these guys. Let me drag him down here as well. I don't really have any AP left to surge him into position. We are now accumulating some gas in this location. That way we can make recon rickshaws. We are going to need an engine factory as well. There's not really going to be any way around that. But do I have... So we have the engine factory right there. I will put in the engine factory probably a little bit further into enemy territory, and there's kind of a reason for that. So there we go. He's now outputting. What we need to do is we need to bump that up by 1. There we go. And so we're costing ourselves a little bit more supply per turn, but it'll be worth it, I promise. And then for the output to this factory, I need it to go over there. There we go. Perfect. You can also upgrade this supply chain by clicking on the little yellow arrow. So, like, if I go over to here, you can see all of the things that are attached to this building and its logistical supply chain. If I click this little yellow arrow right here, it will upgrade the supply line, which means that once I upgrade it, this counts as a road, which means that if I take a unit and put it in this building, I can deploy him out of this building to get him to the front lines faster. And there's other buildings that actually specifically only serve. They don't produce anything. They don't do anything. They're basically just like a link in the power cord. They're called supply nodes, and you can keep linking supply nodes like all the way across the map until you can build units up here and then instantly deploy them to the front if you need to. Kind of a cool little elegant solution to games like this. Really, it's never fun playing a turn-based tactical game where like there's like a fight to a stalemate really far away. Nobody really wins. The line just kind of holds. And then you got to spend a bunch of turns like walking guys from across the map like 4 tiles at a time in order for the battle to kind of resume in any earnest. I actually think that's kind of an elegant solution to that problem that some tactical games suffer from. Okay, we're just going to get these guys in line for right now. And over here, we have 1 gas having been supplied to the garage. If we want to build another recon rickshaw, we're going to need to have 2 engines and 3 gas inside that building. Give me one more conscript, and you guys are just going to come wait over here by the factory. And once we make a rickshaw, we'll just have the rickshaw carry them down here to meet up with the rest of these units. Okay, let's push into enemy territory. There's a small machine base up ahead, sire. What are we waiting for? Attack. So I hate to tell you, but this part of the mission, you're going to lose these units. So there's kind of like a twist to this game. Your leader, your monarch, is kind of an arrogant ass. And part of being an arrogant ass is that he's not taking the situation seriously. Until a certain storyline thing transpires, knocking over these watchtowers is going to kind of be a pain with infantry. It's not going to go very well. You're going to lose some units. And so actually, you may want to elect to sacrifice a unit. Perhaps somebody that's like already wounded. Well, we'll wait for the fight right here. Because this guy's going to close up with us, and he's got a buzzsaw on his arm, so that's fun. Ooh, that was a lot more damage. Unfortunately, he gets an attack of opportunity right there, too, which is kind of a bummer. There we go. A little bit more XP on you. As far as I can tell, there's no medic unit or anything yet that will restore the health of a unit. If you're wondering where their health is at, it's the little green dashes up at the top underneath owned by you. I think I'm going to unload these other units. Just so we have a nice firing line over here. Yeah, because there's going to be more robots coming on their turn. How close are we to getting this done? Oh, we can get it done right now. Beautiful. Okay, load those 2 guys in, and then we'll use our AP tomorrow in order to get them to the front. The enemy is closing the gap, but they shouldn't be able to get up to adjacency, so we should be all right there. You're going to move this way, and then you're going to surge into combat. Like a so. Exactly. Perfect. Exemplary. Go ahead and shoot your shot. Who has a lot of XP? You fire at him. And then whoever is close to leveling up. This guy's less wounded, so I'm going to have him do it. Go ahead and whip that thing up real fast. And then use AP to get back to the lines. We'll unload these guys in just a minute. I don't think we need to unload them for right now. I don't think it's necessary. These places are still siphoning out resources. Good. But our first supply chain's looking pretty good over here. I'm not upset about it. It feels okay to me. I would like to get maybe a supply node down here. Yeah, that seems okay to me. And then you have a connection. So you have a connection with you. I would like to upgrade that. And then you have a connection to you. Oh, but it's on cooldown. I can't upgrade my supply line while it's on cooldown. Okay, let's go ahead and move the army forward. You go ahead and get rid of that roughage right there. Let's go ahead and maintain a battle line. There we go. And we're going to do a full sweep and clear of their territory. This one's wounded, so you don't have to worry about it doing anything. But there will be more enemies attempting to close the gap, and so we're just going to turn this into our own little personal firing range here. Yeah, see, that was a surge right there. Like, he moved way further than he should have been able to, and so basically the AI blew all of their AP on making him close that gap to deal 1 damage. Unfortunate, not my favorite, but is what it is. It happened. Alright, a little bit more XP on the wounded guys. I would rather not have it that way. Did you already fire your shot? You did not. Okay, so move in over here, and I'd rather sacrifice a rickshaw. Since rickshaws don't accumulate XP, I'd rather lose a rickshaw than lose a soldier. And I'm pretty sure one of your guys has to get killed by the tower to trigger the next storyline part. But while you guys are here, finish off that wounded robot right there. Cool. Do have a little bit of AP left. There we go. And so now, if I'm right, I think we can take a guy right here. Yeah, and we can just redeploy straight to the front. See what I mean? And so I can bring him over here. And it cost him his move, but it basically got him all the way to the front lines, like, instantaneously, because we took the time to upgrade that supply chain right there. And not just have it be a logistical supply chain, but also a formalized road. And so these are like the little things, like, it briefly shows you how to do that in the tutorial, but it doesn't really emphasize the massive level of importance, although I think pressure is the main thing that the tutorial neglects. Like, pressure is the thing that I had to kind of figure out on my own while I was playing. Can you shoot again? No? Okay. I'm gonna wait because I want one of the guys with XP to kill that thing off. Oh, never mind. He didn't get XP from it. Alright, send another conscript in here to go get shot in the face by the tower. And maybe another rickshaw, too. We can always rebuild these units. It's no biggie. But at a certain point, what's gonna happen is these towers will bushwhack enough of our characters that they'll be like, we need to call in reinforcements, and it's kind of like a storyline thing you just gotta wait for. I don't know if it's triggered by the amount of units that are killed, or if it's triggered by the amount of damage that you've done to their towers. Haven't really been able to figure that out yet, but, like, this is a tough fight until you get the artillery pieces in. Yeah, go ahead and double attack him. Take that out. Move outside the range real quick. You guys kind of fall back a little bit. I want to make sure they can't easily reach our firing line. And then you go ahead and get in formation over here, too. The facing doesn't matter. If your characters are facing away and they get attacked, nothing bad happens. There's no real way to, like, swap around, like, facings or anything else like that. What is going on right here? Why are you transferring? Oh, but that killed off the supply line. Gotcha. Okay. I had to break that supply line for a second because it was potentially draining engines, and I couldn't exactly tell what was happening there. What is it upset about over here? Not enough of the supply type is in storage to be able to produce. Okay, we'll bump it up a little bit then. I thought I already adjusted that up to +2. Did I forget to do that? I must have forgot to bump it up to +2. We need one to go over there, and we need one to go over here. So I thought I bumped it up to +2, but I guess that I didn't. All right. We're just going to keep attacking that tower, and then we're going to pull the Jeep back in over here because we have enemy contacts on their way in. Actually, they're not really attacking us, strangely. Okay, well, everybody move up, I guess. Like, the humans in this game are very, very weak, but their strength is numbers, effectively. So usually what we are used to in sci-fi, like, tactics games is that humanity is usually kind of like the jack-of-all-trades faction. In this game, they're not. In this game, the human beings are very much like the Zerg. We have, like, endless units. Our units are really weak. They die really easily, but they're easily replaceable. The alien faction, like kind of the Avatar faction, their guys have like 8 HP apiece, and they hit for like 3 or 4 damage every single hit, but they're crazy expensive and like difficult to replace, and so like losing a unit for them is really kind of a catastrophic way to play the game. Like, they really prefer not to lose any units. There we go. We're going to take some damage here. Yep, there goes one of my units. Well, they got 2 in 1 turn. Look at you guys over here being all good at your jobs. Alright, we'll kill you off. Kill you off. Does anybody still have an attack left? He's still got an attack left. There you go. Alright. Enemy's definitely fighting for this territory. The AI usually tries to focus on the place that it can deal the most damage in one sweep, in case you were wondering. So they'll just kind of like leapfrog your areas a lot of the time and go after the guy with 1 HP in the back that you're trying to protect. It's abundantly clear pretty fast when you start playing this game that the AI prioritizes attacking whatever unit is closest to death. And so basically, to the AI, scoring a kill is more important than anything else. Alright, I think I could just surge move over and over and over again with my jeeps, in all honesty. We still need 3 gas in order to get that done. Okay. We're just going to be cheesy right here. I mean, I guess I could just throw all my units at it. I need to trigger that event that gives me free artillery is what I need to do. Alright, let's see if we can trigger the event. Thing is still very much alive. Yeah, I guess move over to here. We'll start clearing out some of this debris and whatnot too. Yeah, as you can see, the watchtowers are pretty deadly. The watchtowers are not playing around. But they instantly level up one of your infantry if you kill one of them with it. It gives a ton of XP. Also, we hit level 2. Doesn't really matter. All it did was increase our AP by 1, so we can probably, like, double move twice now instead of double moving once. But anyways, bah! What is taking so long? Sire, our warriors appear ill-equipped to handle such an entrenched defensive position. Blithering fools. Don't they have any imagination? We could perhaps provide assistance to help speed things up. Ugh, very well. Orbital drop. There we go. So now we've got our little artillery cannon. This thing, protect it with your life, because the Grand Bombard is going to make your life really, really easy in this mission if you protect it. That's the thing. You gotta protect it. If you don't protect it, you're going to have a bad time. Let's go ahead and we'll offload a couple more of these units over here, and I'll just slam them into a vehicle, and we'll just drive them out to the front. Apparently that's sending plates over to here, which is kind of weird, but that's fine. I'm sure there's something we can produce with plates. I would figure anyways. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely accumulating plating inside of its internal storage. Okay. What produces, like, what needs plates? Nothing so far, so it's got to be a level 3 building that needs plating. Oh, it's for the tanks. Okay, so it's for building a Griffin cannon. We need plating, we need supplies or ammo, and we need engines. Is that what that is? Yeah, it's an ammo factory. Okay. Fair enough. But yeah, this game's kind of a unique little strategy game that combines, like, logistical coordination with sort of advanced wars style combat. I actually very, very much like what they're going for here. Like, the sole area that I think could be improved upon is pretty much the tutorial. Like, I think the tutorial could have, like, another 1 or 2 missions to really, really, really explain everything well. You can play through the tutorial in about 20 minutes, and it gives you enough information about how the game works to functionally play, but it definitely does not explain some of the more sticky, trickier aspects of the game, like pressure, for example. And so anyways, it's one of those things that I think could be a tiny bit better. Like, it's fine for now. It gave me enough information that I learned how to play the game in kind of like 2 hours or so of just like fiddling with it using the basic foundation. But still, I feel like that process could be streamlined a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead and regroup all our soldiers. You don't have anybody loaded inside of you. I didn't feel like I had lost this many units, but I guess I did. All right, let's just have everybody kind of corral up over here. Yeah, there's a lot of corpses laying on the ground. I think I did lose more units than I thought I lost. Can I spit out another conscript over here? There we go. I'd almost like to increase the gas output. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That was an accident. There we go. I didn't want to upgrade that. I just wanted it to be a normal supply line. Okay. So one of our mines has officially run out. That means we can self-destruct it and get it out of there so it's no longer an issue. However, the good news is that does give us a building slot back on this tile. So once we hit level 3, I'll probably... I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to plop over here. We've got like the headquarters coming. We've got the Sublime Forge. Got the Ceremonial Temple, which gives us some kind of spear guy. We've got the Hand of Rain, which looks to give us some kind of like Custodes, you know, Astartes soldier, like some kind of super soldier. There's the Grand Bombard. And then we've also got the gunship. Okay. Well, for right now, I feel like we've got everything kind of arranged where it needs to be. Alright, so we need you to move forward. And we're just going to bombard this thing out. And once I get it down to like 1 HP, I'll have a soldier run in and shoot it one time so that he gets the full level up. So that we start getting like, you know, upgraded a little bit by participating in this fight. Meanwhile, we need people to catch up back here. Alright, there was something weird going on with my supply lines. I wasn't exactly sure what was going on, but this guy wasn't producing gas. And it wasn't getting sent over to here. I increased my output. I think it had something to do with the supply depot that I put over there. It said that it was outputting plating to the supply depot, but I feel like somehow it was outputting its gas over there, not saying so, even though there was no gas. I don't know. Something weird happened, and I fixed it by deleting that supply building over there, and then it started working fine. So I have no idea what was going wrong, but that supply building over there was causing issues. I just had to sort it out. All right, so you get back to bombarding that thing, and then you're gonna pull on in here. You're gonna fire once. You're gonna unload a unit. That unit's gonna shoot and get 10 XP. We're gonna load back onto here, and then we need you to move. Let me recon real quick. I don't know if there's more robots down here, and I don't want my bombard to get hit. I'd really prefer that the Grand Bombard not be struck by the inferior AI foe, okay? I would really prefer that not be a thing that happens to me. We need another truck over here. All right. And we'll send them out to the front before too long. This thing can't even shoot. It shoots every other turn, and so we're kind of waiting on it to shoot anyways, so it's no biggie. We need to get these guys cleared off the map, though, so that we can capture this territory because there's more supply in it. And as of right now, we're kind of bleeding supply a little bit. And so that's what I mean is, like, this game is constantly pressing you forward and, like, wanting you to take more territory, basically, which keeps the war engines firing because, like, you're going to run out of resources at some point, so you just got to keep pushing out and taking over stuff. Otherwise, your whole industry kind of grinds to a halt. But yeah, this is Cantata. I hope you guys liked it. I was kind of at war with myself about whether or not I wanted to show these guys or whether or not I wanted to show the alien playthrough. The alien playthrough is a little bit more slow in the first mission. Like, it doesn't get you up and running with building quite as fast. And so I figured I would go with this one instead, since that allows me to show off the supply lines and whatnot straight from the beginning. But I do think the game is pretty cool. Like, obviously, there's going to be, like, a lot of adjustments and things as it goes through its early access. but from the 2 hours or so that I've spent with the game, it's got really good pixel art. The game looks fantastic. It sounds fantastic. The artwork completely and totally stands on its own 2 feet. I'm not quite sure I've ever seen anything like it. It is a weird, odd-looking game, and like whoever the main artist is for the game like really went in on that in sort of like a Mobius Jack Kirby sort of way, just like whatever came to mind, that's what the characters looked like, and I actually really enjoy that. So anyways, I will see you all later. Thank you for stopping on in. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we had the early access for Cantata. Tomorrow we will have something else. Thank you for hanging out with me, and that's about all that I've got for you. Bye, everybody.